Welcome back to All Things Data, where we explore all things in data. This is the second lesson of our Fundamentals of Business Intelligence series for nonprofits. We're just going to do a quick recap on what we covered before in the previous lesson, which will be very short, and then we're going to move right into our lesson of the day, which is primarily dealing with objects and the Diamond Data Methods Matrix and the 5 parts of a request for analysis. So what you see here are the 9 common objects that are needed most of the time within the organization. Objects are like the nouns and verbs of the data language, more or less. These are the main building blocks that you're going to use to build your report. Okay, objects are tracked throughout organization. What you see here is the Diamond data. So the way it usually works is objects that are in the A quadrant, which is where action and activity happens, is tracked there, recorded, and then it's stored and transformed within the T quadrant to be housed in the data source of some type, mainly a database, and then extracted from there by an analyst or management or whoever the case may be for analysis for a report to be generated for decision makers to make decisions within the D quadrant to make sure that the flow of data is flowing the way they want, that the metrics that are important to that organization are being tracked accurately, and they can make decisions for the performance. Just as a general example. There are 5 parts to a request. A complete request doesn't mean that it has to be all 5 parts, but we're going to use 5 parts because this is like what a complete request for analysis generally looks like. And you're going to have the presentation type, the primary objective, primary value, primary label, and then the secondary label. So let's begin. How do you want the report to be presented? Okay. Which is your presentation type. Now, presentation type is generally going to depend on the volume of information that is needed for the report and who needs it, meaning is it the owner of the company? Is it one of the managers? Is it a team lead? Things like that generally depend on how much information is going to be in there and how it's presented for various reasons. Okay, so these are common report types here. A dashboard, a report, some type of chart, a summary, or a list. So someone could say, I need a dashboard, I need a report, I need a chart, I need a summary, I need a list, and so forth. Dashboards are mainly for executives or project directors. Reports, charts, and summary are generally used by management of some sort, and lists tend to be used by direct staff or employee. Now, anyone can use any one of these presentation types. We're just giving an example of who may need what for whatever reason. Okay, primary objective. What data will be in the report? Well, our primary objective is the main object that a person is looking to analyze, and it sets the tone for the report. So let me give you an example here. So any of the 9 common data objects can be used as the primary objective. So this will kind of go like, I need a summary of project data. Next part. How should the data be calculated? Well, that's going to be our primary value. So primary value deals with how you're going to calculate that data. So as you see here, these are our calculators: total, sum total, average, minimum, maximum, all. So continuing with our example that we started before, I need a summary of projects data that shows a total values. So once again, I need a summary of projects that show a total or total values. Depending on the rest of the report, that's why I got caught up a little bit there. Okay, let's continue on. Okay. How should the data be broken down? That's going to be our primary label. So continuing with our example, I need a summary of projects that shows a total values broken down by time. And then we'll move on to our next part here so I can complete the example. So the last part is our secondary label, which is how does the data need to be broken out? So we got broken down and broken out. So to complete our example here, I need a summary of projects that shows a total value broken down by time, broken out by people. Now, these common objects that we're using will sound a little different within each organization. Some people may, for people, they may say staff or representative or members or client. Money could be revenue. Time, a common thing for time is month, year, day. What else do we have here? Place. Places could be location, which is Northwest, Southeast region, regional, headquarters, whatever the case may be. So this is our 5 parts to a request for information. And if you understand what these 5 parts are, even if the information isn't given to you or asked for of you in this exact way, you should be able to identify the objects within the request that's been given to you and place them in here. And if you can, this is going to save you a lot of trouble later on. Okay, so we have an example of a request for information. So I need a summary presentation type of life skill programs, projects that show a total values broken down, primary label, by the month of February, broken out by members, secondary label. And voila, this is how you plug it into the matrix. Summary, projects, total, time, and people. So you've identified all 5 parts of the request for information, and you plugged it into the Diamond Data Method matrix so that you understand each part of the request. Once you have this clear understanding, now you can move on to the next part of, building your report, which we won't get into, but I'll give you an example of what it'll look like. So this is Excel. So right here, we have a summary of the information that was asked of us. So you can look at it that way, but then here, let me see if I can move this out of the way. Let's see, so I can actually see it. Okay, so at the bottom here is our visual data from the request of information that was asked of us. I need a summary of life skills, which is what we have here. Totals, these are our totals. Broken down by month of February, that's why we have the 2 at the top. Broken out by members, and we have our member levels at the bottom, with these members attending the most in the month of February. So at a glance, we'll get a chance to see exactly what we need to do without having to go into a database or a data table to see exactly what we need to see within seconds. Now, reports get a lot more advanced than this, of course, but I'm keeping it simple so that we make sure that we got the fundamentals and the groundwork on what's needed to actually build a very accurate report. Now, this information here, just so you can get a more clear view on what's going on, comes from a structured data table, which will be our next lesson and final lesson to complete this series, Fundamentals of Business Intelligence for Nonprofits. I've seen many reports and tables within certain organizations, and they're struggling because, one, they don't have their data structured in a way that the system can actually read it so that they can actually create summaries and visuals, which we're going to get into, like I said, in our last lesson. I hope this helps someone. I enjoyed spending this time with you guys this evening and looking forward to seeing you in the next lesson. Thank you for your time. Have a good evening. Bye.